All right. We're talking about Iran and Russia going after ISIS and Syria, it's a mess. It is a colossal mess. But listen to what President Obama said at the United Nations.
Nowhere is our commitment to international order more tested than in Syria. When a dictator slaughters tens of thousands of his own people, that is not just a matter of one nation's internal affairs. It breeds human suffering on an order of magnitude that affects us all. Likewise, when a terrorist group beheads captives, slaughters the innocent, and enslaves women, it's not a single nation's national security problem. That is an assault on all our humanity.
And what has he done about it? Nothing. Zilch. Nada. He's done nothing. Oh, he drew the red line. Oh, if Assad does this, if Assad does that. And he did nothing. He can't even bring himself, the devout Christian can't even bring himself to say, when a terrorist group beheads captives, you mean beheads Christians? Systematically annihilates Christians? He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't say they were a Muslim terrorist group because it doesn't move him, because he has an agenda. No, he's not a Muslim, but he doesn't act like a Christian who's bothered by the slaughter of Christians, does he? Now, before we get to Ralph Peters, let's lead into it with this CNN panel analysis of what's going on between Putin and Obama.
It looks like Putin has very skillfully, some might say, simply out-leveraged the United States, which is not there, has no skin in the game, does have no cards on the table. Putin has put his military, aircraft, helicopters, armored vehicles, personnel, and came up with a surprise intelligence sharing with Iran, Iraq, and Syria, and said, here, this is our fait accompli, and you guys are wrong. You guys don't know that ISIS is what you've created.
All right, joining us now to talk more about all this is Ralph Peters, Fox News strategic analyst, retired lieutenant colonel, of course, in the U.S. Army, and author of Valley of the Shadow, a great, great novel. Hello, my friend Ralph. How are you?
I'm just doing great, Steve. Always good to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you. All right, so you wrote a great piece. I saw at the New York Post of Vladimir Putin's next trick, a strike Obama won't answer. Explain.
Well, as we certainly saw Obama getting beat around the head and shoulders by Putin at the UN. It was just horrifying to watch. But, it's easy to beat somebody up if they hold their hands behind their back and close their eyes, which is what Obama's been doing. So the piece of the Post postulates that a possible move for Putin, indeed a likely move in the coming weeks and months when he feels ready, would be to shoot down a U.S. drone over Syria or possibly even a manned aircraft, because he knows Obama would not respond militarily. And Putin would immediately say, oh, it was a misunderstanding, an accident, fog of war, and Obama would leap on that excuse not to do anything. But in fact, as Putin is well aware, he's so much smarter than Western elites give him credit for being. He's well aware that it would be read throughout the world as the U.S. running away. It would break the morale of our military, who are engaged in these timid, tepid operations Obama is running in the Middle East, and it would just push us one step closer to the door, two or three steps closer to the door of leaving the Middle East. I mean, Putin's goals, contrary to all the malarkey you hear from think tanks and the administration, Putin's a very straightforward guy. He in the Middle East, his goals are clear. He wants Russia in and the U.S. out.
Yeah.
And he has extremely skillfully, artfully, even brilliantly timed it to build this alliance with Iran, with Iraq and Syria as clients, Hezbollah as the dirty works crew in there. And we now see that he waited carefully until after Obama got trapped in his own nuclear deal with Iran, and now Obama won't do anything to anger Iran, and suddenly we see there's a formal alliance between Iran, Russia
and
Iraq,
Syria. Yeah.
our Baghdad government, Shia militias, Hezbollah, Assad, and their goal is to build a wall of countries from Iran all the way west of the Mediterranean that will keep the U.S. out, overshadow Israel, and Netanyahu's already making trips to Moscow. He's nervous. He doesn't trust us anymore, and also would overshadow our Arab Sunni allies. So Putin is playing a brilliant strategic game, and he's playing it. He's winning. This guy's got 3 4s and 2 2s. We've got an inside straight, and our allies have a royal flush, and we're folding.
Yeah. It is incredible. I was going to ask you about that alliance. Of course, no U.S. approval there, as you indicated, between Russia, Iran, and Syria. And so what do we do? I mean, they're stating that they're going to fight ISIS. So and Obama said the other day at the UN, I think he said that he's willing to compromise with Iran and Russia on finding a solution to the Syrian problem, for instance. So, but he's going to have no leverage.
Well, certainly, Putin and the Iranians do want to fight ISIS eventually, but their initial targets, their primary target, is everything in between the Assad government and ISIS. All the relatively moderate, the less intense Islamic groups. Putin's goal is, I mean, again, it's so doggone obvious. He wants to wipe out all choices in Syria except the choice between Islamic State and Assad. And that's a choice he wants to present to us. Who do you want, Islamic State or Assad? This guy is really, really good. And just because Putin didn't go to the right prep school, because he has lousy table manners, the effete elites here in the West and Europe write him off. And Steve, I keep stressing to people, history isn't changed. It's not advanced by people like Kerry or European politicians. History is changed by outsiders, the dynamic people with a different view. You know, think of who the outsiders were that got us all in trouble. Stalin, obviously, Hitler, Lenin, Mao, Ho. I'll go back to Napoleon was just a junior artillery officer. It's those outsiders who change history, and the West insists even now on writing Putin off. You heard our president saying, "Oh, don't worry about Putin. His country's going broke." Well, no, they're not going broke. And you know what? Russians expect life to suck. They're not Americans. They're not protesting in the streets.
Right.
They're proud of the fact that Putin has restored, in their view, Russia's glory.
And Vladimir Putin has the support of the Russian people. He absolutely does. Listen, Ralph, always great to get your perspective. Thank you very much. So stay well. Stay well.
My pleasure, Steve.
Ralph Peters, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're coming back. He's right on target. We've been rolled by Putin, or Obama has. We're coming back much more. Don't go away.